First of all, thank you, Vishal, to having me on this platform. Okay. And thank you everyone who actually joined to learn streaming API because it's one of our very important API in the Salesforce ecosystem. Okay. So before starting, basically, let me introduce myself. I am Danikla Sani. I'm a technical architect in Content Business Solution. This company basically working on healthcare product basically, and I'm working as an architect there. I'm certified application architect. If you want to collaborate, if you want to discuss anything related to the Salesforce, you can ping me on my Twitter handle. This is Danik Sani. I also write blog related to the integration, architecture, and lightning. So salesforcecodex.com is my blog. You can refer some of the good blog there. We also running actually a certification preparation series. We have just completed integration architecture certification series, and probably in the next 2 months we will going to start identity and access designer certification series. So if anybody wants to actually join those series, okay, then you can contact me, okay, because we will going to start that series as well. So this is you can say our agenda for the today's session. First we will see what is streaming API. Then we'll see what is technology behind streaming API, because there is some concept is why streaming API is required and what is the technology behind that. When we see where to use streaming API, because we have a lot of APIs, in which scenario we should go and use the streaming API, we'll see that how many types of streaming API or streaming events we have right now, what are the use cases of those streaming APIs, and we will see a demo as well with one of the streaming event, which is a part of the streaming API again. So in Salesforce, it already has provided a lot of API, and those APIs actually works based on some of the use cases. Not every API can be used in every place. We have we have a bulk API, we have a UI API, we have a canvas API, chatter API. We have multiple APIs available, and for every API is used for a different purpose. Similar to that, streaming API is basically used in some scenario. Streaming API mainly used by basically to get real-time data update from a server for the clients, basically for the consumer. The consumer who wants to get a real-time data, they can go to use streaming API. Like example, if you are watching cricket, okay, so every time, and those cricket, like one person, one stadium, that event is going on, the cricket match is going on, but there are a lot of web application, lot of application who is actually updating those scores, and there are multiple consumer of those applications who is watching those cricket updates basically. Even we also, when we are working on office, we normally see, can we get any kind of score update or something? So we need to, or client need to get the real-time data, and in that scenario we can go with the streaming API. The streaming API, you can say in Salesforce, is a kind of event-driven architecture, okay, where what is event-driven architecture? Basically, when we work with the UI, in UI we have a different kind of events like we have a click event. When we click on the radio button, on that, then we have on change event, we have a pick list selection event. These are the UI event. When we click on the UI, we are getting an event fire basically. But streaming API works on the business event. It's not on the UI event, it's a business event. Now, what is business event? Business event, basically, you can see if some patient has basically admitted in our hospital, then this is a business event. When actually order is created in our e-commerce system, that is a business event, because one order is updated, one order is created in our system. These are the business event where streaming API will work. Okay, so let's see two more use cases where we should go with the streaming API. Let's say, example, there is a high-tech hospital where whenever the doctor is prescribing, or doctor is prescribing that, okay, you should get admitted in a hospital for the maybe surgery or other thing. As soon as the patient is getting admitted, okay, The notification should go to the different departments of the hospital. Like we have a pharmacy, we have a billing department, we have a dietary, we have a laboratory, because all these departments will get some, they actually benefit, basically get the some kind of you can say link with that patient, like laboratory. If there is any kind of a testing required, okay, so laboratory department will work. Is there any kind of medicine is need to be provided, of course the pharmacy department will come. Whatever, if that patient is already part of our hospital, and if do we have any kind of discount we have to give, or they already have some kind of money which they have to pay to hospital, all those information is there with the billing department. Then dietary, what kind of a diet they should go after the surgery or something, every information they should get notification whenever the patient is getting admitted. Okay, so this is one of the use case. Second use case, we can say, let's example, right now is very popular, e-commerce website. When e-commerce website, whenever the order is basically generated, so after the order is generated by any customer, there's a multiple subsystem in the e-commerce system, which should get in notification. Like we have billing department, we have a warehouse from where the basically whatever customer has ordered any product, that product needs to be dispatched to the customer. And after that, everything information is there, then the shipment of that product, they need to be actually delivered to the basically that customer. So this is the second use case. Okay, we can go with the streaming API, but why this only streaming API? We have other API as well. Like in this scenario, we can go with the P2P. P2P is a point-to-point connection, where actually from one Salesforce system, we can notify the each customer, each client application one by one. Means if we have a 10 clients for one kind of application, so we have to create a 10 integration. I don't think it's a good practice. If any of the basically notification of the server is down or not, integration is not working, so that client will not get any kind of a notification. So in this scenario, this P2P connection will not work. Then we have a second, basically very good, you can say implementation, outbound message. So outbound message also basically sends notification from server to the client. Okay, but problem with outbound message is that it works only with the structured data. Structured data means the data which is in format of XML. It's not in JSON format. So most probably every client doesn't support XML format. So not every client is actually working on the XML format. Mostly client actually they support JSON burst also. So this outbound message will also not work in this scenario. Then we have a streaming API, which basically will work on the event-based architecture. From Salesforce system, we will give actually we will publish one event, and that event which is subscribed by all those clients, they will get notification in real time. So there actually in this kind of scenario, we can go and use the streaming API. So now what is the technology behind this streaming API? In any of the REST, any of the integration, there's two kind of technology. One is the pull technology and the push technology. In pull technology, basically clients requesting data from the server periodically, basically for after some time, after basically some frequency, the clients keep asking, keep getting basically request from the server that, okay, do you have any kind of new change? Do you have any kind of new event generated? So actually client is keep calling server to get the real time or get updated information. So in this, the problem is that, okay, if the clients is keep calling, they are consuming a lot of API, okay, and if they are calling server, so server is also responding or working on that request, which is not of any use right now. Because if there somebody is requesting, you have to respond. So if you are responding, you are taking some kind of resources in the server. So that is not a good practice, where you are not responding, you don't have any data, but you have to respond from server side. So there is a pull technology where somebody is polling you, somebody is pulling some basically request from server. Second is a push technology. In push technology, basically notifications are sent server to the subscriber, and it's in real time. So basically, client is not asking that, okay, please give me updated information. Here, server is responding that, okay, I have some good information, I have updated information. These are these are updated information. If you want to use that. So it is given by the server to the consumer or client. In this case, no polling is required. So if is no polling required, then of course we are not wasting our basically server resources. So it's a good practice. Then push technology, actually they are working with a publisher subscriber model. Okay, so whatever clients who has subscribed with that particular event or stream channel, they will get all those notifications in real time, or almost near real time, or is mostly in real time, or if it's not real time, then it's a near real time. Then what is the mechanism behind streaming API? So now, as we discussed, okay, client and server, the server is publishing and client is subscribing those event basically. Now to get the updated information for the client, they should always connected with the server. They should have always an active connection between server and consumer. Otherwise, they will not get any kind of update. So now the problem, how will there will be connection will be active every time? There is two concepts. One is a short polling, and there is second is a long polling. In short polling, basically clients keep sending requests to make an active connection. So basically they are keep calling server. Let's example, in one of the use case we have to ask, okay, there is a hospital and there is a, you can say there is a laboratory department. Say they want to basically they can to go with the pre testing or they want to actually prepare what are the tests required for the new patient. So how many patients they will get in a day basis, they have to get the information. So what they will do, they will keep asking this information to the Salesforce system. So in this case, they will ask and they will get the response, okay, we don't have data, we don't have any new patient. So in this case, polling is done, but immediately you are getting a response. There is no hold on the server side. There's immediately they are responding that there is no data. But in case of long polling, in the short polling, there is a problem that, okay, you are keep calling and you are actually wasting the server resources. In case of long polling, clients send request for the information, but they are thinking, there's a mind, they have a mind, okay, that whenever we request, server will not respond you immediately. Server will only respond you when there is some kind of data changes, some kind of business event is there. Like example, if order is generated there, then they will respond. If there is no order generated, they will not respond to you. They will, your connection is still active. You are still connected with the server, but they are not responding you. They will only respond, server will only respond you when they have some kind of a business event which is already generated for you. So in Salesforce, basically long polling is supported using Wire protocol or the Comet-D library. Wire protocol, basically, again, let's see what is Wire protocol or the Comet-D library. So now, because we discussed, okay, we have to go with the long polling, because in this case, in long polling, we are not wasting server resources, but still we are connected with the server. Now, how to go with the that protocol, or how to go with the long polling? There's two mechanisms. One is a Wire protocol. Wire protocol is basically transporting asynchronous message, okay, and each is written over HTTP and the WebSocket protocol. Wire protocol can work on a low latency, which will take less bandwidth, and basically they can actually go and pull the web server for any real-time update. Wire protocol is primarily used to get the message done, or basically message sent in bi-directional manner. Basically, if client can send the message, server can also send the message. So from both sides, the message will be transmitted from both sides. So that's why we will go with the Wire protocol to get the long polling. Now, if you want to use that mechanism in a Lightning, you have to go with some kind of a library, which is Comedy library. So Comedy is a set of library to write any web application to perform messaging over the web. Okay, and this actually help you delivery of asynchronous message. Why asynchronous message? Because after sending an event, after sending messages, we are basically not connected immediately. Okay, we are waiting, and whenever new will come, then only we will respond. So delivery of asynchronous message from the server to web client is often termed as a server push, because server is pushing notification, server is pushing information to the consumer, and that's why it's a server push. Now, how to go asynchronous process between the server and client? So normally Ajax is a mechanism, Ajax is a terminology, or Ajax is the concept normally in web application, where with the combination of Ajax web application with server push, basically we can get the all notification on time, on real time. This Comedy actually is supported by the BIA protocol, okay, which is we already discussed. This is a BIA protocol is a transporting or transmission mechanism, which basically send asynchronous messages to the from server to the consumer. So using these two tools, actually we in Salesforce actually go and support the streaming API in our Salesforce ecosystem. Now, how the client is connected with the server, how the mechanism is, how that is supporting. So first, whenever client basically wants any notification, the first thing will be done is Comedy, which is a library. Actually, it sends a handshake request. Handshake request basically let's us connected. I want to connect it with you. So that's kind of a request the client is sending to the server. After handshake is complete, okay, now they are sending a request that okay, I want to subscribe you. I want to subscription. I want to get notification from your side. So they give this kind of a request in the subscriber. This is the second step. And after the subscription is successful, means server is saying okay, we approve you. Then Comedy maintaining the connection by the long polling. After these two steps, whenever the next request is going to that server, that is for the long polling. Means if I'm requesting something, if server has information, they will respond. Otherwise, they will not respond. They will only respond when actually there is a, you can say, any update in data, or there is an update in any business event. Then only they will respond. Otherwise, connection is still active. So how the connection is still active? Because even the Comedy library is there. The connection after some time, probably 110 seconds, there is a time millisecond basically, they get terminated. But Comedy library again gives a request to make the connection active. So they have to keep active connection using the re-requesting or reconnecting internally. Now, where we can use streaming API. So streaming API can be used from platform to the external application, like from Salesforce to the .NET application, Salesforce to the Java application or the PHP application. We can utilize our streaming API in this scenario. We can use from external app to the platform as well. From ASP.NET to Salesforce also we get a notification using streaming API. That is also achievable. Then from Salesforce to Salesforce, within a system also, if you want to go and you can you want to go for any kind of streaming event handling, then we can use a streaming API. Like if you go in Flow, if you want to log any issues, then normally we are using platform events. Okay, so that is a system itself. Flow is using platform event, and that is in the same system, same Salesforce org. So there also we are utilizing Salesforce streaming API. So in all the scenario, we can use streaming API. We will see all these things in one of the demo. Now, what are the type of streaming API? So we have mainly four type of streaming API we have. One is a generic event, then we have push topic, Then we have platform event and change data capture. These all streaming API basically works on specific use case. It's not that, okay, they will work on the same use case. They all has different use cases. Generic event and a post topic is normally terms as a legacy API. It was from initial only. And platform event, the change data capture, you can say it's a current technology. They actually handles legacy string API things, but one or two use cases still is not supported in a platform and change data capture. So we'll see what are those events, or what are those criteria where the still platform event and change data capture is not supported. So let's example what is generic event basically. So generic event we should use when you want to send a custom notification, you want to send a generic notification that is not related to the data change. Like you are not notifying a customer or client or consumer for a data change. You are just notifying for any general issue, generic issues. Like example, you have a team of representative, okay, team of customer representative, customer call agents, okay. So you have built one application. That application, what will do that, if any agent need any kind of support from supervisor, they can personally send an email or was it notification to the supervisor, hey, customer is asking this information, I'm not aware, can you help me? So this kind of information they can get exchanged between the supervisor and the agent, specific agent. Then in that scenario, in that kind of scenario, we should go with a generic event. Even this kind of generic event, you can also go where, let's example, your application is using any of the API, and that API is not that API is not working. You want to switch to a different API. So what you will do, you will notify each agent, okay, this server is down for 1 hour. Can you switch to your API, basically your application to this server? So this kind of a notification we can share using a generic event where no data changes or no data notification is required. So for that cases, we can go with a generic event. Now, push topic is basically supported or events provide a secure and scalable way to receive notification for the changes for any Salesforce data, which is related to some filter criteria. Now, filter is added in this kind of streaming event. Let's example, you have basically customer base from a different state of your country. And what you want that if somebody, basically some new customer will be added to your state, like state in New Delhi, some new patient or new customer came to your application, you want to get notification for that. For other state, I don't want any notification, but you for any specific state, you want to get notification. In that scenario, what we have to do, we have to create a so-called where clause criteria. Means if select star from select ID and name from account where state name is equal to New Delhi. So you will get only notification when a new account will be created for the state which is New Delhi. For other, you will not get any notification. So in this kind of scenario, we can go with the push topic integration. Streaming API, again, it is streaming API itself. Then we have a change data capture. So this is one of the important, you can say, streaming API. This is normally comes for the best data synchronization, or if you want to synchronize two systems with complete data sync. Okay, so change data capture is process that captures changes made in a database and ensure that those changes are replicated to the destination, which can be a third-party system also, or in your application also, in your company itself, you are actually syncing your data to the different system. Like if we are running our Salesforce org, and if you have a huge data in your Salesforce org, you normally want to basically move your data in some other backup devices, backup system. So normally, let's example, we are using Oracle. So if you want to move your daily data to the other system, which is Oracle, in that scenario, you can go with a change data capture. So now question in this scenario, how the data will be synced. So basically in daily basis, how whatever record will be changed, only those data will be replicated to the external system or the other system. This is in this scenario, and there is no where condition is required. You are syncing to your object to the other system. So no condition required because you have to sync two system. So in this scenario, we will go with the CDC. CDC and push topic almost similar, but in push topic, we have a benefit that we can put a criteria based notification. In this, you are getting complete sync up with the two system. So this is a where you can use a change data capture stripping event. Then we have at last we have platform event. Platform events are used to deliver secure, scalable, and customizable notification within a Salesforce or external application. So normally this kind of a platform event is normally used when you want any kind of real-time notification for some business event, like order is created, patient is admitted in a hospital, or new e-commerce order, basically customer has updated their address. In this kind of scenario, you should go with a platform event.
Can I ask something?
Sure.
I want to know what is the use case difference between the push events and the platform events.
Push topic you are saying.
Yeah, push topic. Sorry, I mean.
Okay. So that we push topics mainly again is for data change, and platform event is not only for data change. It's based on the event. Event, like I told you, order is created. Okay, address is updated. These are the whether events are there there in push topic. We are any kind of data update is there, then of course we can go with the push topic. And there is basically in push topic we have a conditional operator or filter is required.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
But for platform event, so when we are saying order is created or something is done, that also is a kind of data update activity itself, right? How are we differentiating push topic data update as compared to a platform event order is created or bill is generated?
Or okay, again, because that is a data change. It's not necessary when, let's example, when we are creating application, it's not necessary we are creating a database, but before that also we can give a notification to the application. It's not necessary every time that only after the data is created, then only you want to notify. In some scenario, we also possible because the platform events also support before record insertion also is it will be created. Like if you want to go with a log insertion, if your application is you have supported log using a platform event. So in that case, when you are, let's example, you are creating a new account object, but there is some validation rule fire. In that case, your application data will not be inserted, but still platform event will be log will be generated. So it's not always necessary that it will also tied up with a data change. It can be before data change as well.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay. So let's see what are the terminology we have in streaming API. First, we have an event. Again, event is any kind of a business state change, okay, which is for meaningful for any business purpose. For different kind of a business use case, we have a different business event. Then we have event message. What kind of basically notification data we want to share with the consumer, that are messages. Like for when you are going with the order case, and we need at least some useful information like who was the consumer, who when that was order was created, what is the quantity that was ordered, all those event data, that is called the event messages. Then we have event producer, who actually the publisher who is publishing that event. So in our case, normally we have a Salesforce who is publishing event. Event channel is a channel by which basically the event is transported to the channel consumer, because Streaming API support event-based architecture, where all the event is actually transported in one of the channel, of whatever client we have. They can consume that channel and they can get notification which they have actually subscribed. So all the data is transported using the event channel. And then we have a consumer who is actually consuming, who is subscriber for that particular event, okay, and who has get the notification for all those notification for the server side. Now, let's go with one of the basically streaming event. Basically, we are going with the platform event, how we can integrate systems, okay, using platform event. I have used .NET application to integrate with the Salesforce system. So for any integration, okay, any Salesforce streaming API integration, we need 3 steps at least. One is first, we will create that event. So in this case, what we are doing, we will create a platform event first. Then we will publish event. So we will publish platform event. So using publish, we are just sending a message to the subscriber, and then subscribing event. So whatever events we want to, as a consumer, I want to subscribe, I will go and subscribe that particular platform event. So we will see the integration using platform event, and these 3 steps are required. So let's go with the first step. So define platform event is, again, platform event is similar to the custom object we have in a Salesforce object. You can think as platform is a special kind of entity. Why special kind is, again, it's a custom object, but it's not always similar to the custom object. In custom object, we can see the data, we can delete the data, we can update the data. But in platform event, we can't see the data. You cannot query like a select ID or name from the platform event. You can't do that. You can't update any data. You can't delete any data for the particular event, basically. So, and whatever message we have to send, we have to create a field similar to the custom object. As mentioned, that for the order event, you have to add message notification like customer ID, other customer ID, who is the, when it was created, what are the quantity, all those messages are there. All these messages are supported using the creation of the field in the platform event. As I mentioned that we can't view, update, or delete event records, okay. By default, custom objects are created with suffix with C, but platform events are created with the E. Why? E is indicating or denoting that it's event. Okay, so let's go and see how we can create a platform event in Salesforce. So again, this is a one important point is here, okay, in this while defining any platform event. Let's say we are going with the update order information. Now this is one of the important behavior in the public platform event is a publish behavior. This is very important. Why? That there's two values in this one. One is publish immediately and one is a publish after commit. So basically what is immediately and what is after commit. So basically, so if you want that any notification will be generated even there is a failure in that process. As example, I was telling you, if you want to create an account, but there is a failure in that creation of the account, still you want to that, okay, the platform event should generate it. In that kind of scenario, you should go with the publish immediately. That even there is not successful, I will go and I will create a event. But if you want that, okay, business event is completed, then only I want to go and notify the consumer, then we should go with the publish after commit. These are two important behavior for the platform event. Now, there is again is event type. So in platform event, there is durability of the message. For how many days these events will be there for the consumer. So that is kind of message durability. So in platform event, we have a 3 days maximum time where they get notification. As example, my client was down. Okay. But whenever my client will up, they should get notification. So till how many days that message will be available, so that consumer, whenever they will available, they will get a notification. So that for platform event, that limit you can say is a 72 hours or 3 days basically. So that is the event type. So once all those information is there, you basically hit platform event. Sorry. So once platform event is created, this is a one important information, API name. This API name you can think is a channel name or event name. So this event name is required by the consumer, any consumer. Maybe your application also is a consumer, lighting application is a consumer. So there you have to use this API name to get notification, to give notification to the server side. So now we discussed, okay, we have to send some information. For sending some information, we have to create a fields. So this, you can go and you can create fields in custom fields and relationship. So let's go. I have already created one platform event, which I will use in this demo. So you can see I have used, I have created some messages, or you can say fields, customer ID, price, product ID, product name, and quantity. These information I will get, okay, whenever somebody is publishing that event, and will get this notification to them. So next we have in this is publishing and subscriber event. So platform event can publish event through API, Apex, and Process Builder. So we have a two kind of subscriber. One can be an internal subscriber and one can be external subscriber. Internal subscriber basically who is internal to the application, which is part of the Salesforce org itself. Like we have Apex, we have a Process Builder, we have Flow. They can also subscribe to your platform events. Okay. So for internal subscriber, we can go and we can utilize these features of Salesforce to publish also, and for the subscription as also. From external subscriber can publish and subscribe using API. They're using API, they can publish the event. They're using API, they can consume our event as well. Now, third, if any third-party application wants to subscribe to our event, what are the important information they require? So first, they should create. We should create a connected app. So using connected app only, any third party can connect to our Salesforce system. This is one of the important step. Second, after we have to share connected app detail like consumer key, consumer secret, and we have to also share the user credential. Based on that user credential, they will connect to our Salesforce system. So these are the two important information they need. And then after that, they need event detail, like which event they should subscribe. So they will subscribe using that event and they will consume based on that. So this is for the subscribing by the external app. So let's see that step, how I will notify to platform event. Okay. As an example, we have one product order object. And for any .NET application, let me open .NET application. This is a .NET application. I mentioned you that, okay, for any third-party application, we have to share some credential. Like you can say the username, password, and the consumer key and the consumer secret we have to share to get connected. After that, which event actually they should subscribe. So I have to also notify or that detail. So what I have created another event, order created event. So whenever I product order in this system will be created, and I will create a new record, they should get notification. That .NET application should get notification. So let me start this this application first. So you can see that first is handshaking. as we discussed, how the connection is established with this client to server. First was handshake. After the handshake, we have a connection. And after that, basically, we get handshake, we are subscribing to that event. And after the subscribing, we will connect it with that long polling. We are giving a request for the long polling, and we are waiting that somebody or some event will come to our application or our consumer system. So this now consumer is open for subscribing or getting notification from the server side. So now let's go and create a new business event. For us is creating a new product order. So let me see two product we have, or let me order. So we have order status, and we are creating one product order for the quantity one for this product. I have nothing, as if you see in this scheme, we have a for only connection time subscription. As soon as I hit save, I will get all those details which is generated at that site. You can see we got what was the order ID, what was the product, when it was created, what was the product name. You can see that we have a Sony TV 68 inch. Okay, what quantity we have ordered. Every information we are getting in a third-party system, which is a ASP.NET. So not is a C# application. Okay, where there we are getting all the information. So this is from Salesforce to the external system. We are notifying, and .NET application is consuming our streaming API. They are getting a notification as soon as any new record is created in our Salesforce system. Now that there's a second use case where from external system, we are notifying to the server like a Salesforce that, okay, I have created some event, or so I have created some order, you can consume this. That can also be possible. So in that case, what I have done is another application you can see, which is created in .NET again for e-commerce kind of application. Sorry, this is not that one. Let's this one. Let me restart. Right. No. So this is kind of, you can think, is kind of an e-commerce website where we are showing products. Okay, and when we buy that product, the event will be we actually notified to the Salesforce. Okay, that okay, this product has been ordered. So for this, as we discussed, that external app can share or basically publish or subscribe events using API. So you can see this is the API. You can see we are consuming. This is a product event API. In that product event streaming API or streaming event, we are giving these details that okay, you have to share this data to the consumer. Is quantity, product name, and customer, which customer ID is still purchasing this. This information we are sharing using the platform event to the consumer. Right now is a Salesforce is who is consuming this event. So let's open again in Salesforce. Also we have to open one subscriber. So let's example we are using Lightning component. Platform event. So this is a Lightning component created for subscribing those event. Okay, subscribing event which will be generated, which will be published from the consumer side. Okay, so we have what we have to again we have to do similar to the .NET application. There we are going to handshake, then we are connecting, and then after that long polling is there. Here also what we have to do, we have to first subscribe that event. So for subscribing, you have to provide the event name. So event we have created, we have already created this platform event, product event. So we are subscribing to that event only. So let me subscribe first this. Okay. Now your subscription is started. Let me clear this information or data. Now all those data, if we get any notification from the subscriber to the Salesforce, we will get all data in this text box area. So let's purchase any of the product. This is the product we want to purchase, and normally we get this kind of page where we will get all those information related to the product. So we will hit this buy product. So as soon as that product is actually we have ordered, we are getting that notification here in Salesforce Lightning app. Okay, we are getting product information, we are getting customer ID, which I mentioned as a triple 4x, product name, what product I have buy, when it was ordered, what was the quantity. Okay, every information we are getting from third-party system to the Salesforce as well. Okay, so that can be on both sides. So now how we can do, how we are doing this. Okay, so one second, in Lightning, if you want to subscribe in a Lightning component, there is a two concept in Lightning. In Aura component, we have to use Lightning EMP API. Okay, and in LWC, we have to use Lightning EMP API, and there also there's the same concept. Lightning API module basically help us to access methods for subscribing any platform event. And this this module basically supports all kind of streaming event, platform event, push topic, change data capture, or generic event. All those event is supported by these libraries. Okay, these module. When we use this module, we have to consume two event. One is a handle subscribe, and then is a second is unsubscribe. Basically, when you are subscribing, what you are subscribing, that we have to give information, and if you are unsubscribing, what event you are unsubscribing, and after the unsubscription, what you have to do. All those things you have to write in your Lightning component. So let's see how we have actually done that. Let me go through and these one by one. First, let me play using process builder how we can publish any event. So when I was showing first demo from Salesforce to the .NET application, we have consumed, we have sent notification. I have used process builder to give a notification. Okay. So what I have done, whenever product order, whenever a new record is created, okay, I was publishing one event. So you can see order created event. This is a platform event which I have created. So whenever a new product order will be created, I am publishing this platform event. All those data will be published using this process builder. Okay, and that will be subscribed by the .NET application. This is one of the way. Second way, okay, is a flow also. We can go. Then we have Apex, dynamic Apex as well. Not dynamic, basically using anonymous window also we can go, or you can go with creating Apex class as well. Using Apex class method also, you can basically publish any event. So let me see. problem. Let me go through the help document. Lightning EMP API, or this one also. So you can see what we are doing using Lightning API. We have to basically create a variable used for the Lightning API. After that, what we are doing in JavaScript, we have a two method. One is for subscribe, and second is for the unsubscribe. So in subscribe, what we have to give? We have to give which event you have to subscribe. So using this variable or this text box control, we are getting value which we have. I was showing on the screen. Okay, where is it? So this is a text box value. Okay, so from this text box value, you are getting which channel name you want to subscribe. Okay, so you have to get that value, and after that, you are calling subscribe method or event. Basically, when this subscriber is done, then you are notifying that some whatever event is there, it will be generated, and you will get a notification. This is for the subscription. And similar for the unsubscribe, whenever you want to unsubscribe, you have to pass which channel, which streaming event you want to unsubscribe. And after the unsubscription, you will get notification that, okay, this event is now unsubscribed. You will not get any kind of a notification. Now, similar we have to do, or we have to go with the Lightning Web Component as well. There also we have a Lightning EMP module, which do the same as a Lightning or a component. Here also there's a method handle subscribe and handle unsubscribe, where you have to go the same kind of concept. You have to pass the which channel you want to subscribe, and after the subscription, basically you will get all the notification. And in handle unsubscribe also, you have to pass which channel you are unsubscribing, and based on that you will get a basically notification for that. Okay, this channel is unsubscribed. So this is the way. And you can also notify or subscribe, or you can publish using Lightning Flow as well. That is also supported. Lightning Flow also, you can go and you can publish any platform event, and based on that platform event, all the data will be basically, you can say, transported, we will integrate it with the different systems. So as we have seen that we have a .NET application, we have a Salesforce system. So both system basically they are integrated with each other. We have not used any REST API. We have not used any SOAP API. Using a platform event, we have actually integrated these two systems, which are different applications, and we can utilize easily. So these, I think. Yeah, that's it. Okay, for today's session. If we are open for any question, okay, related to this event, streaming event, any of the Lightning event.
Yeah, I have a question. Can I
Sure.
ask?
Of course.
Okay, so what is the reliability of the events? I mean, Vivek has asked one question in the chats. He's asking for the reliability. I mean, do we have any data loss? Suppose we are firing 2000 events at a time concurrently. So how do Salesforce handle it?
So basically, reliability, or you can say in terms of reliability, it is better than the outbound message. I told you the outbound message is a similar concept from server you are notifying to the customer. The problem with the outbound message is it's a maximum 24 hour. It can durability is only 24 hour. And if the server is down, you are not getting notification. Plus, it's for one-to-one. But in this case, platform event or any streaming API, there is order is maintained. For each event, there is a replay ID is generated for each event. Whenever you are creating, let me show that replay ID is generated for each event. 1 second, let me show you that, so you would know better. So now you can see there is a replay ID is generated. 1 second, replay ID 828911821. So basically this is, you can say, used for the messaging sequence. So based on that, we only know that, okay, uh, which event was generated first, which event was generated first, second. First is one. Again, that these are queued. These, whenever the streaming, you are using streaming API, they are queue mechanism. Means they will be there until the, we told you, 72 hours is for the platform event and the change data capture. For other streaming API, which is changing and push topic, the message durability is only 24 hours. Means till 24 hour or till 72 hour, the message will be there in the message bus, means event bus. So let's example, my client is down. Anyway, it can be possible. So whenever they up and they want any notification, whatever new event was there which is generated when your client is down, so when they are getting notification, that time we have to pass one indication that, okay, I want to get all those previous messages which I have missed. So how we can do? Let me show in this one. Yeah. In the second parameter, you can think when we are subscribing that platform event, we are passing second parameter is -1. -1 is indicating that all new event from when I have started, means when the consumer has started. After that, whatever event will be there, I will get all those notifications. But maybe my client was up, but due to some reason or internet connectivity or any reason, server failure, something, they are got down, and after 1 hour or 2 hours they got back. So now they all, whatever event which I have published within 2 hours, they should get all those information. So getting those information, they have to pass -2. -2 indicating whatever new is there, that I will, of course I will get. But whatever is -2 means whatever event which is before this event, I have to pass the replay ID. Till which replay ID you have got notification. After that, whatever that replay ID, whatever notification is there, you can get using that second parameter, which is -2. So you have 72 hours for each event you can consume and you can get notification. So this is a very good example. Is again, message will not lost until 72 hours. There will be there 72 hours. If even though there is you have a requirement that, okay, even might be possible that my server or my client basically is down for months, right? So in those cases, you should go with the ETL approach. You should not go with these streaming API. You should go with that ETL approach where they can handle for months or maybe the weeks as well.
Yeah, got it. Thank you so much. I have one more question, which is
Sure.
related to the governance limits of the platform events.
Yes.
Can we increase it for our clients, or do we need to contact with Salesforce for that? What is the minimum governance limit right now?
So we normally actually ask with the governor limit. I think if we have a better, we actually with architecture design better, I don't think we can even go with that limit actually, because we have multiple API. We should use these API for our use cases. We always, whenever we get any kind of use case, we always prefer to go with the REST API. They try to use or consume this REST API. We never actually discussed, we deal with those. I told you there's a lot of API we have. Bulk API. If you just want to synchronize two systems, you can utilize also bulk API. Why I will go with the CTC only? Why I will go with the push topic only? Right. So we have
exactly.
Right. So architect has to decide, okay, of course we have a governance limit, but we can divide that governance limit use cases with a different other API mechanism.
Yeah,
right?
Got it.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So for this publisher subscriber model, I wanted to understand that you are saying that the message is the event is live for 72 hours. Then is it the responsibility of the subscriber to ensure that same event is not duplicated while consuming?
No, I told you there is a concept of replay ID. Replay ID means you said whenever you get a message, whatever message is server sent, and you have subscribed it, you should put the which replay ID you have subscribed. Let's example till 5 notification you got. So you in system you have updated. Okay, I have a 5, but you again up like and that time the event is 15. So between 5 to 15 you have missed event, right? So when you are getting the previous messages, what you will tell, okay, to the Salesforce channel that, okay, till 5 I have got the notification. After 5, whatever notification we have, give me those, and they will give you that.
So this replay ID is for the same message when it is getting retried.
Retried means
say for example we created one order with the say 1.5 ton AC.
Right.
One unique
replay ID is generated.
So for that, say ID 1 is generated.
Right.
I have to maintain this for 3 days. So whether this will have only...
It's a server responsibility that it will be maintained by 3 days. It's not consumer responsibility that it will, because I told you that it's an event-based mechanism, and platform events support that, okay, till 72 hours, you can subscribe. If you have subscribed, you will get that notification.
And there are various consumers. So say some consumers are online at that time and they have consumed this. Then
yes. They will consume, but you have not consumed, right?
Correct.
So whenever you are up, you want that notification. I told you, okay, I have this replay ID I have got. After that, you give me that, you will get the notification.
And the consumer which has already consumed, it has to ensure that it is not consuming the same replay ID again in its...
they will not get. They will not get. Right. Because I told you -1, we are only putting the all new event you will get.
Understood.
Okay.
Thank you. There was one more question. So these 4 mechanisms of streaming API. So basically what we understand is streaming API is something that is under the hood. As a developer, we are not interacting directly with the streaming API apart from what you are showing on the screen. Like in EMP API, we have this subscriber.
EMP API, we have a process builder, we have a flow, we have a trigger, we have a Apex method.
They are all at the higher level. Means as a developer, right, using some tool which under that tool it is using streaming API.
Right.
But we are not writing any code or writing any callouts or web methods which directly use the API as such.
Right. So using Lightning API, because we have to use Comedy library, there only we are using. Otherwise, other features, standard feature, we are not actually writing anything.
So we have tools or wrappers, but only in EMP API we get 2 methods.
Right.
Like
right.
Oh, thanks.
Guys, if you have any questions, you can ask. And we will wait for next couple of more minutes. If we don't have any questions, we can wrap up the session. Dhanik, can you please go to the chat window? I think we have some questions in the chat window. It is good if you can answer the questions.
Okay. If we're talking about only notification, can't use platform event as well. What would be the difference between using streaming API in this case? For notification, we only notification, we can't platform event as well. So you should not best, because why? Basically in platform event you are sending messages as well, but in general generic API generic event we are not sending a message. It's just a text message for generic message, like, okay, hi server is down today, you can proceed with the other server now. So there is no specific message required in that case, so we will not go with the platform event in that scenario. What is the role of subscription after the we successfully have handshake? What is the role of subscription after we successfully? So basically the subscription basically is saying, okay, now because any Salesforce server, they can subscribe multiple events, but for which event you want a notification, you have to subscribe. Like I told you example of a cricket match. So live cricket match is going on. So who the web server, the web application will get notification who has subscribed with that server. Other person will not get notification. So for that, we have to go with a subscription. Then we have, correct me if I'm wrong, the CDC is also called asynchronous trigger. Of course, we can utilize CDC as asynchronous trigger. We have that mechanism now in CDC. Can we define scope of CDC like a specific object? Of course, we told that, okay, like you have one HR object for whatever candidate you are getting from external vendor system, you want to get sync with them. So for that, we can go with the one object itself. But we cannot define fields in that CDC. We can only specify object, not fields. Field, if you want to specify field, then you should go with a push topic, not the CDC. Can platform event cover use cases of other three methods? Not always. It can't go with the push topic where your filter notification is required. Okay, generic event you can go, but not the CDC you can go, not the push topic you can handle. Is CDC paid like Salesforce Connect? It's like a lot of money per sync? No, it's not paid right immediately. You can start, even like people are using platform event as well. But after, for everything, we have a Salesforce has a limit for using it. So with certain things we can go. Otherwise, if we have only data, CDC basically normally used for the data synchronization. So we already have a bulk API. So if you are going beyond that, better go with a bulk API where we can multiple millions of data you can go and sync with the bulk API. So we have other approaches as well for the syncing to data. And if we can't view event record, how can we debug if we want to know that any event was missed while subscribing, like that was fired correctly or not fired itself, or it was fired but some issue occurred while subscribing. So subscriber has, whenever they are fired, you are saying so event, okay, we can't go, but you can't subscribe like this. So it always, whenever you are publishing, that will, of course, it will go and it will publish that event. So subscriber will get, okay, which so whatever is there, they will get notification, okay, that okay, event is raised or not raised, okay, they will get. And if you want to debug it, I have not actually checked that, okay, how to debug that. Okay, in Lightning, of course, you can go and you can check, okay, if it is subscribe or not. That is capability in a Lightning EMP API. While using that, we have that mechanism to go and use debug. But specifically for the platform event, I have not checked that, okay, we can debug that thing. Difference between publish immediately and publish after commit. Can you please tell us again what is the best practices here? Again, we told that, okay, publish immediately, you go when even that your code is has an error. Example, normally if I have used in a platform event in flow, let's example, you have created one flow and there is some error in the while creation or record observation in the flow. So in that case, event, that what you want, logs should be generated in our system. Okay, so in whether the case is successful, whether is the system code is successful or code is not successful, code even is throwing error, I want to get a platform event published, then you should go with the publish immediately. But you want that, okay, whenever the order is completed or the record process is completed, then only you should publish any platform event, then you should go with the publish after the commit. So there is a two concept. So if you okay with that, or if you want a more clarification, I will okay with that. Mayank.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I mean, as you said that if you want, if you want the logs to be generated, then publish after commit.
Normally I use there in this scenario also there only, but that's the difference actually. Even your code fails, I want to get a platform event published, then go with publish immediately. What we want, everything successful, then only you should publish the event, then you should go with the publish after commit.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And And do we have any demos for CDC on Salesforce platform?
Yes, we have. Similar to this, a platform event, like I told you, there is only 3 steps for any event to be. First, define that event. Second, publish, and third is subscribe. So of course, we if you require, probably I can have a demo specifically for the each topic. Like we have platform event for CDC, for streaming the other push topic and journey. We can have a demo for that as well.
Okay, I have used others, but I have never used CDC. That's why I was asking.
Okay. And then what is the use case difference between CDC and platform event? So again, CDC mainly used for the data synchronization. When you want to synchronize data for complete record, then you go with the CDC. Platform event for the business event changes. Maybe for some event only you want to go and publish event, like when order will be updated, then only you want to notify. But when it's created, I don't want any notification. Okay, so specific instances, specific business cases, if you want to go, then you should go with the that platform events.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, Dhanik, for such a wonderful session on streaming API. As we are not getting any questions in the chat window, I think we are good to wrap up the session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today's session. Before wrapping up the session, I would like to make kudos to our new volunteer. He's Vaishnav. He's working hard with me on arranging the sessions properly. So thank you so much, Vaishnav, for doing such a wonderful work. And we
Thank you,
are
sir.
from the next week, we are coming up with a hands-on workshop series that is for the flows, in which we are covering the topics from the beginning of the flow, flows beginning. I would like to request you to please do the checkout on the Gurgaon the Salesforce Developer Group page that on how we are starting the series.
Sure. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining to this session, actually.
Thank you so much, Dhanik. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today's session. As we are not getting any questions, now we are going to wrap up the session. So, okay, bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.